extras. In this video I'm just going to show you how you can use custom shapes, smart objects and perspective warp to create some very surreal sort of shadow designs. Now I'm going to be using some shapes from andrewsshapes.com. That's one of my other websites, and this set is a freebie set. You can find it on the bow tie shapes page, and there's actually lots of other bow tie shapes. There's ones you can purchase, but these ones are actually free designs which you can just download and use, commercial, etc. if you want. Now just gonna select that, got that there, and the fill I'm setting to be black because I want to sort of as a shadow. So that's the initial design, and now I'm just going to create the front design as well, and I'm going to set that to another color, green. Okay, so once I've actually done that, I'm just going to go to the layers. I'm going to select that, and the quick easy way of creating a blur and effect I always find is just using the properties here. The feather, it's quite a nice, so you can actually create a very quick blur. Well, of course vary the blur there. Now what you can do once you've done that, you can just go to layer and smart object, convert to smart object. Now the front bit is not a smart object, obviously that shadow is the smart object. Now what I can do now is just go to just check that it's actually selected, because I don't want to modify that, the green. So now perspective warp, so perspective warp, and it comes up with layout, and first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a very basic layout there. But what I want to do is actually create an unusual shadow, so I'm just going to have it got a break in the center. So I could actually of course create multiple layers, but you can sort of, there's that. Now click warp, and I'm just going to warp that shape behind the blurred shape, and just going to pull that one out and pull that out, so you actually see the blur of this design, this bow tie design just going off there. But you can also distort it so it appears as if it's sort of like hitting a wall at the back, and you can of course modify that, so you actually, you know, you can imagine it as like a three-dimensional space where this shadow is zooming off there and it's hitting an object at the back. So you can just obviously move that up, different angles, so the light's going that sort of direction, and of course you can tweak it. Sometimes actually you can tweak it too far and you end up seeing what happens. This goes, and you have to quickly undo that because it's just suddenly joined with that, and it refuses to let go, so it will actually just basically start there, so you have to undo it. But you can distort it in many different ways. Okay, so once you've actually done that, click OK, and that's it. You've got your actual shadow design. Now you notice a slight imperfection there. It's not always perfect. Always think it's slight. You can, of course, as a smart object, you can actually just go to the blur, Gaussian blur, and just apply a quick blur to that, so you can get rid of that slight sort of ugly sort of distortion there that appears. But that doesn't always appear, so sometimes just depends how sharp a design it creates. And of course you can create more unusual, and as perspective warp you still see it's still available, still live, so you can actually go back on it. Don't do that. I want to go into actually modify the existing one. So right, so basically you can just drag that around, and you can change your mind, you can move it somewhere else. And again, it's still all live, and you can move that around there depending how far you want it sort of above, and so on and so on. Click OK. Right, I hope you found this of interest.